everyone. It's 4 o'clock and we are here to teach you how to grow your own herbs. So we'll wait for a while, for a couple of minutes, so that we have more viewers joining in. Hi Rupesh, thank you so much for joining us. Hello Suparna, thank you. Hi Deepika. Hello Nidhi. Kumkum, it's great to have you back again. I believe you were there for our session yesterday as well, which was on growing microgreens. So welcome back again. Hi Kalpana. Hello Bindu. So everyone who's joined us, this is Priyanka here from iKheti, and I'm glad to have all of you over here on Indian Oil Chef Tea Cuisine. And today our session is going to be on growing herbs. How can you grow them in water as well as in soil? I know most of you would be wondering that how is it possible to actually grow herbs or any plant without soil. So we'll just wait for a few more people so that a lot of people can get the answer to this question, and we are going to quickly show you how can you do that. Just a couple of more minutes. So I think that's one thing nature has taught us, patience, right? So it's just going to be few minutes and we are going to start our session soon. Hi Nandini. Hi Pooja. Okay. Again, this is Priyanka here from iKheti. I'm an urban farmer and an ecopreneur, and the founder of a social enterprise called iKheti, which helps people set up their own kitchen garden and live sustainable lifestyles. And I am so glad to be here in association with Indian Oil Chef Tea Cuisine. They are celebrating this whole week as the World Environment Day. Yesterday, we had an excellent session on growing microgreens, something that grows quickly and that's nutritious. And today, our session is going to be on growing herbs. We had a lot of audience yesterday who had a lot of queries as to how can you grow lemongrass, how can you grow things in water, and that's why we are here back again to teach you and to take care all of those questions. Hi Alok. Hi Sneha. Thank you so much. Thank you all of you for joining us. So we can begin our session now. As I mentioned earlier, this is Priyanka, an urban farmer and an ecopreneur from a social enterprise called iKheti. And before I begin, I think we need to first realize the reason why we are here. You all would have realized that this lockdown period, has made all our lives or lifestyles, stop for a couple of months. It has given us the time to ponder and rework or try to do different things. So it's given us the time to rethink how are we living currently and what kind of changes can we make. So for some people it would be to maybe get up early in the morning. For some people it would be to maybe join yoga or live a healthy lifestyle. Or for some people it may be something as simple as spending some more time with family, right? But what a lot of people don't realize that sustainability also is a very important part of your lifestyle. So what do we mean by sustainability out here? You know, in simple words, when I talk about a sustainable lifestyle, what I mean is where we learn actually how to live with the nature rather than against it. So maybe right now, a lot of people, and no doubt, it's not about blaming anyone, but everyone has, made those efforts to bring about the changes in their personal lifestyle. But if you go to realize, you take it to a higher level, you would realize all this is happening because of a lot of environmental changes, right? And during this lockdown, you would have faced buying expensive vegetables because vegetables are not available easily. We have these cyclones and storm. The whole weather conditions have played a havoc. And still, what we don't realize is that along with making certain personal changes in our lifestyle, it's very important to include sustainability in it as well. It's not just about celebrating World Environment Day for a day, and that's the idea. That's the message Indian Oil wants to give, and that's why they are celebrating World Environment Day throughout this week, teaching you how to include sustainable lifestyle. To live, have a sustainable living, to include certain small steps and measures within your lifestyle. And today is one such session that we are going to talk about, that is actually how to grow your own kitchen garden, start your own kitchen garden and grow your own herbs. Like I mentioned, a lot of you would be facing difficulties in finding good quality of fresh vegetables during this lockdown period. And at that point of time, because obviously there were interstate restrictions, there were intercity restrictions. So obviously all the raw materials that were there with the farmers could not reach the cities, and it was a loss for the consumers as well as the farmers, because the poor farmers, obviously the consumers that they have grown, they are all perishable nature. Since they could not deliver it to the cities, they have faced losses as well. While on the other hand, the consumer have faced losses because they haven't been getting the access to fresh food daily. Even if you have access to it, the prices have been skyrocketing. And to take care of all of this, iKheti actually was started 8 years ago. Not that we foresee such a situation like this, such an extreme situation like this, but what we realized that in the near future, it's going to be very important for each and every individual to start growing their own food, to start a grow your own food movement. The reason was very simple. First, on an individual level, that you get access to fresh pesticide-free food. And on an environmental level, since a lot of vegetables or fruits that you get today are laden with pesticides, the farming land that we have available these days, they are getting barren. And soon we are not going to be left with any space where farming would be possible. And also, most of you would not realize that for your food to reach your food plate, your food travels actually about 80 to 100 kilometers before you get your food. You can imagine the kind of carbon emissions that are getting released in the air. So, for you guys to reduce your carbon footprint, there is a small method. This is a small workshop to teach you the basics of kitchen gardening and how you can start with simple edibles that are herbs. So let's begin quickly. So if you see over here, I have all my setup ready for all of you. Okay. So this is going to be in two parts because as I mentioned earlier, I know that because of the lockdown, you might not have access to a lot of raw materials and as well as edibles, right? So the first part is going to I'm going to teach you how to grow your herbs in water. Because simple things that you can easily get in the market and start growing those herbs in water. And the second part is going to be divided into how can you grow these herbs in soil. So there are a lot of people who would have the raw materials or maybe a small garden, but they would not know the know-how, how to go about it. So that's the second part that we are going to be taking care of. So to begin with, let's start with growing herbs in water. This process is also known as hydroponic system, wherein the plants or the your herbs, they take in nutrients from the water instead of soil. So if you see over here, I have this beautiful mint plant, right? The other plant that I have over here is your ajwain, okay? And the other plant that I have over here is your basil, your Italian basil. And the fourth and the last one that I have over here is your peppermint. So your mint and peppermint are two different varieties. Okay, so they are from the same family, but mint is your pudina, right? It's usually used in our kitchen, very commonly found in Indian kitchens to make chutneys or even to make green tea these days or your normal tea. Peppermint is a different variety. So your toothpaste, okay, or your Wrigley's chewing gum is actually made out of that. So if you see, there would be difference in the leaves as well, right? So I have 4 different varieties of herbs over here which can easily be grown in water. Alka, I'll take that question very soon. Okay. So what I have done over here is, these are the pudina stalks that I have bought from the market. So if you go to your vegetable vendor and you are buying pudina, next time be careful or remember to actually keep a couple of stalks away. So if you see, these are your normal pudina stalks, okay? Nothing special about them. This is bought from a roadside vendor, okay? So these are a couple of stalks that I have over here. When you are selecting the stalk, you need to remember that they are fresh. Okay, the stem is green in color. If you notice the color of my stem, they are all green. Okay, so if you're taking a stem that's brown in color, it's not going to work, right? We need stems that's fresh or that's green. You simply take about 4 or 5 of them and place them in a bottle of water. That's about it. It's as simple as that. You can place about 3 or 4 of them together. The reason being because you would not know which one of them would have roots. So it's always better to use more stalks and just place them in water. So few things that you have to remember over here are certain important points. Alka, this would be taking care of your question as well. The water that you're using, okay, it's neither too hot or too cold. It has to be your room temperature water, right? The other thing, it can be your normal tap water, but ensure that it does not have too much chlorine in it, okay? Because that's going to affect the plant, the growth of your plant, right? And the third most important point is, whenever you're placing it in water, you have to ensure that you do not place this bottle in direct sunlight. Like I mentioned, having hot water is going to affect the growth or the roots of the plant, so we wouldn't want that. So you always ensure that you find a safe spot which has maybe indirect sunlight or even no sunlight. That works absolutely fine, okay, but never in direct sunlight. Because what happens, especially if you are using a container or a raw material that is plastic, okay, so it would tend to get really hot. If you do not have a plastic bottle, a normal glass would do, any container would do. You just have to fill it with water and keep it. Another important step that you have to do is you have to keep on changing the water every day. Like I mentioned earlier, in the hydroponic system, right, your plants take the nutrients from water. right? So if you're putting so many stocks together on day 1 or 2, it would so happen that all the nutrients from the water are over. So that's why you have to keep on changing your water daily. And after a week, you would start noticing these beautiful, I would place it down below for you to see it, beautiful fibrous roots. Can you see these fibrous roots? Okay. So frankly, I have done nothing. As you can see, all I have taken some pudina stalks, mint stalks, right, from a local vendor, placed it in water and changed my water every day. And if you see, that's the beauty of nature. If you see, I have these small nodes coming as well. Can you see those? So I actually have a new plant emerging as well along with these fibrous roots. Okay. If you do not change your water, what's going to happen is your stalks are going to start turning brown, and they're going to be slimy in nature because of not getting enough nutrients. So we wouldn't want that. Also, because your water is going to become slimy as well, your roots, your stems are going to start rotting. So that's the reason. That's an important step, to frequently change your water every day for 1 week. So it's just the question of 1 week. So definitely this is pudina that we are talking about. Another herb that you can easily work with is ajwain. If you see, ajwain is readily available. A lot of people, if your neighbor or anyone else is growing it, and you do not have access to nurseries right now, you can just take a cutting of it, right, and immerse it in water. Again, change your water every day. So that's about ajwain. Coming to Italian basil. Right. So I have a plant of Italian basil, and I have taken a cutting out of the same. But if a lot of vegetable vendors these days have Italian basil as well, so next time you go to them, request them if they can give you the Italian basil along with stem. Okay. If you see again, can you see the difference of fibrous roots between an Italian basil and pudina? Yes, you can grow them indoor as well, Alka. So this is Italian basil, and the another herb that I have over here is peppermint. As I mentioned earlier, it's different from mint, pudina. Your peppermint oil is made out of it. It is an excellent mosquito repellent plant. It's also excellent for your stomach ache. Your Wrigley's chewing gum and toothpaste is made out of it. So you get, if you chew the leaf directly, you will have that menthol taste out of it. Okay. So it's as simple as this about growing your plant in water. So back there, if you see, we have our own hydroponic system, which is much more complicated. That is, if you would want to grow your cherry tomatoes or lettuce, in that system we actually keep on adding water soluble nutrients, and we have an oxygen device as well attached to it, because if you see, when you have so many plants growing together, right, you won't be able to change that water that frequently. But this is a very simple hydroponic system in plastic bottles, in glass, that you can start right away. Okay, let me just take few questions before we move on to the next part. Once you have these roots in place, the fibrous roots in place, how do we actually transfer them to soil, to all those people who have the gardening raw materials available with them? Can we grow them indoor? Yes, you can definitely grow them indoor. Like I mentioned, Alka, you have to avoid keeping them in direct sunlight. Any kind of Shivani, any kind of bottle would do. The thumb rule is you have to keep on changing your water every day. So Italian basil actually is from your Tulsi family. Okay, we have holy basil, that's known as Tulsi. Italian basil kusum, it's from the same family of our Tulsi. Okay, but it's used mostly for Italian dishes, right? Like your pasta, especially to make your pesto sauce. Will we always grow these in water or after some days? So for Nalini, for people who would have gardening equipments or soil available, I would suggest them to shift them to soil after a couple of days. The only reason being, not because you cannot continue growing them like that, your produce is not going to be as much. Okay, so right now, if you do not have any of the raw materials available, you can easily, as I showed you earlier, we do have new sprouts coming as well. But obviously, if you would want a higher produce, then you would have to shift it to soil after a couple of days. So I'll show you the pudina that I have actually grown from cuttings. So if you see right over here, this is all. Can you see the freshness level of this pudina? This whole thing, actually, this entire lot is, all I had done was taken a cutting and then just shift it to soil later on. So if you have a bigger pot, right, you can shift it on later. We consume a lot of pudina in our daily diet, right? So I actually shifted in a bigger pot. Okay, Nalini, if you do have, if all of you can get cuttings of oregano or thyme as well, it can be grown in a similar manner. These are easy growing herbs that can grow in water. So if you can get cutting of those from your vegetable vendor, those are the herbs that can grow in water too. So moving on to our next part, that is how do we transfer this into the soil. For this, I just have my camera placed right there so that it's easy for me to show you guys how it's to be done. So to begin with, you would require certain raw materials if you're planning to shift it to soil later on. I would just quickly go through the list of the raw materials that you would require. Okay. Over here, I have a container. I've taken an old container, right? When we talk about sustainable living, okay, it's actually taking care of different aspects, and recycling is one part of it, So a simple way that you can include this in your lifestyle is when you're growing your own herbs. So if you see, I have used these plastic bottles. I usually have the habit that whenever I go to birthday parties or any other occasions, at times it's very painful to see that you have people distributing Bisleri bottles. That's why actually I have a lot of the 500 ml ones, because usually that's what distributed. I have the habit of collecting them, and keeping them so that I can start, have this small little garden of mine, right? Over here, if you see, I have a takeaway food container, which you usually get it from the restaurants. So you do not really have to go out there and buy a pot. You can use a lot of things from your household itself, right? So I have a container that is filled with. So over here, I actually have a mixture. The mixture of potting mix, the potting mix that I have over here is my normal garden red soil. Okay, because that's usually what is found in Mumbai. I'm from Mumbai, so that's one thing. Another thing, it's coco peat. Coco peat is mixed in it. Okay, and the third most important thing is compost. Okay, so if you see over here, I don't know. I'll just show you once again. So that's your coco peat. Coco peat is nothing but your coconut husk. The main reason why we use coconut peat is because it makes your soil light and fluffy. It also retains moisture for a longer period of time, the temperature and the moisture within your pot, okay? And especially when you're growing herbs or when you're starting with seeds. So if you see, it's very light in nature, right? So it makes your soil very fluffy. Okay. The other thing that we have over here, it's, if you see the black thing, you'll see the difference in color. Okay, that's compost. Again, that's something that we have made on our own. Like I mentioned, iKheti was started to help people to live sustainable lifestyle, and that's exactly what Indian Oil is promoting as well. So the whole idea is, when we create our own compost at iKheti, we are actually converting yesterday's food, leftover food, into compost to grow tomorrow's food. right? So we are actually completing the whole sustainable life cycle. Also, if you see all the planters or the pots that we have over here, okay, we are actually recycling them. So these are the certain way that you can we are completing the sustainable life cycle. And that's a compost. Okay, you guys are lucky. So the reason why we have a compost, if you see, I have a, I don't know if it's visible to you. I have a little friend of mine. Yeah, that's an earthworm. Okay. So when you compost or when you don't use pesticide or organic fertilizers, you actually invite your friends like these. Can you see the earthworm over here? Yeah, which are very important for your soil. So in childhood we would have always learned that earthworms are friends of farmers. The reason being is because they aerate your soil. Especially a lot of people, especially who are first time gardeners, they have a habit of overwatering their plant. Okay, that's the reason we use coco peat, and that's the reason we need to have earthworms, because they aerate your soil. Because if your soil becomes muddy, your roots will start rotting and it's not going to grow pretty well. So I have the mixture again over here. The ratio of your coco peat, compost and red soil is, so I have added about half coco peat, half soil. Actually a little less coco peat because I didn't have enough, but you should be adding like about 40% coco peat, 40% of your red soil, and the other 20% is compost. Okay, the reason why a little bit of compost is added, the ratio is less, is because if you add too much of compost, your plants will start getting burnt. Okay, they would die. So anything in excess is not good for your plants. So that's why the ratio is 40-40-20. Let's begin. So I'm going to show you how to sow these beautiful mint that I have, and also how to actually plant peppermint. The reason why I'm showing this is I believe the audience that we have over here today are from different cities, from different towns and different states, but it's very sad, but that's actually how we get our plants when we go to buy from nurseries. Okay, I have planted this just to show how it's to be done, so that you know about the exact process. We at iKheti use actually bottles or coir pots to grow our herbs. We do not have it in this plastic bottle, but only to show to our audience, because that's how you usually find it in the nurseries. And if you're going and purchasing it from your local nursery, I would want to show you the exact steps. So let's begin. So to start with, I have, if you see, this is a peppermint plant, right? If you guys, this is how you get it in a plastic bag, right? So you do not really have to tear this plastic bag. Okay, if your soil is dry when you have bought your plant, water it and then repot it the next day, because we would want the plant to easily come out like this. If you see, all I am doing is actually pressing it from all the sides. So I have my soil, it started to come upwards. If you see, it's as simple as that, but for that your soil has to be moist and not dry. And I have the plant. So what we are going to do is, we are not going to touch the roots at all. Okay, we are going to plant it the way it has come. Okay, to avoid minimum damage to your plant. So if you see, it's come as a whole, right? And I have placed it right in between, okay, the container that was filled with soil. Another important step that I forgot to mention is, whichever container that you are taking, okay, before using, you always would have to drill some holes. If you see, I've drilled these holes down below. Okay, it's very important to drill these holes. And the next step would be to add few pebbles. So place few pebbles on those holes and then top it up with soil, then fill it up with soil. The reason why we have holes is we would want the excess water to drain out. Like I mentioned, if your herb or any edible or any plant, it's lying in water for too long, the roots start rotting, okay, and your plant is not going to grow. Eventually it will die, because the root is the important body part of the plant, right? So we wouldn't want that. That's why we made those holes right over here, okay. And the reason why we place stones is because we would want the excess water to drain out, but not the soil and the nutrients that the soil has, right? So it's a very important process to drill some holes and place these stones down below. So if you see, that's why I made some holes in the plastic bottle over here as well. If you can see these holes, and I have these pebbles, and then you top it up with soil. So simple thing. We didn't try to damage the plant. It's right in between. It's placed right in between, and then I actually take up some more soil, right, and fill it up in all the direction. Pour it in all the direction gently. Okay. So the main idea to show you this was a lot of people do cut that plastic bag. Okay. So later on, if you are planning to grow any kind of seeds, even if you are getting these plastic bags, you can recycle them again and grow different cuttings inside this. Okay. And the other important part is to show you to how to remove it, because a lot of people just remove the roots and they do not take the soil while repotting, but do not do that. Okay. Also, another important point to notice is whenever you are planting, right, either do it in the morning, okay, or do it in the evening. Like we are doing it in the evening today. I never do it in the afternoon, okay, because the extreme temperature may have an effect on the plant. So the best time to actually repot is in the morning or in the evening. Okay. So we have a peppermint plant potted. Okay. Yes, so I would just take some questions. Kumkum, vermicompost is good. Are these microgreens? No, these are herbs, right? Saundarya, we had a session on microgreens yesterday. It's available on Indian Oil Chef Tea Cuisine Instagram page and Facebook page. You can go and check it out. We had a session yesterday how to grow those microgreens. Yes, so Alka, I am going to teach you that. This is if you are planning to buy it directly from the market. This is how we repot the plant. And if you would want to repot what you have grown, okay, are pudina with fibrous roots. That's what I'm going to show you exactly the next thing. So over here, I have taken a different kind of planter for pudina. The reason being is pudina falls off very beautifully. Okay, so when I started iKheti and being a city girl, a lot of people actually wondered where are we going to get the space from to start growing your own food, right? Because usually, obviously, it's not wrong, but people perceive that you require a large piece of land to start growing your own food, right? But all the herbs that I have over here, the best part about these herbs, like your mint, your peppermint, your ajwain, your Italian basil, these are the plants that can grow vertically as well, and they fall off very beautifully. Okay, so over here, that's why I have made a planter which I can easily hang. I do not require any kind of space. I can just hook it up onto the wall, right? And I have cut it from between, right from between. Okay. Important steps in this is whenever you're placing it, okay, usually people have that issue that the water drips from down below, okay, and if any person standing would have an issue. So if you see, I have made a hole on the cap, okay, instead of down below, right? So the thing is, I would want the water to drain out. Also, if ever you see excess water, there is an easy way of just to open your cap and remove the excess water from it. Okay, so I have a small hole made over here. Another thing, when you fill up your soil, ensure that it is completely filled, even the sides, right? If you find it difficult to fill it from between, you can also again open the cap and start filling it from here. Yes. So if you see, I have made a small cutting, a small space right in between. I would now take the pudina that has, all my pudinas actually have fibrous roots. It's wonderful. I am so glad. Oh, I would like to show you more if you would want to see Just look at that. So I would just take few of these. And place it right in between. As I mentioned, if you see, your pudina falls beautifully. So it's a great plant to be actually grown in a hanging pot. So I have two of them going in together. And again, I just add some, top it up with some extra soil. And just gently shift it all over the place. Don't worry, after this, if you are not able to see clearly, I'll be showing you the pots which are being made right now. We would be sharing the pictures of the same as well on Indian Oil Chef the Cuisine, right? So do follow that page for more updates, to learn more about microgreens, to learn more about how you can grow your own herbs. Do stay tuned to Indian Oil Chef the Cuisine and also iKheti. If you have any queries, if you face any difficulties during your growth stage or starting your own kitchen garden, we are always going to be there to help you out, to handhold you throughout the whole process. The whole idea, like I mentioned, is I would want communities to start growing their own food and not just individual. And when all of us come together, that's when we can make a greater difference. And it's a great initiative by Indian Oil Chef the Cuisine that they have. Actually, they have a whole environment week. It's not just about a day, like I mentioned earlier again. It's just not about a single day, but taking small, simple steps every day. So if you see, I have my beautiful pudina plant growing. Yeah? If you do not have a ribbon, you can take jute as well. But remember, if you're planning to keep it outside in your garden, take something, take a material that's way more stronger. If you're keeping it indoor, that's a different thing. The reason being because since the rains are coming up with a constant touch in water, okay, your jute might break or your ribbon might break. So maybe you can take a tar, you have those patla tars, and then actually make your own water. So that's another way. Another beautiful part about it is if you do not want to hang it, okay, the same way you can make as you can see, I've done the cutting over here. You can actually have your plants growing straight as well, and your plants cropping out from here. So instead of, and then you can place it on your table. So there are different ways that you can actually utilize your plastic bottle. Another way that we have done, which is very simple, okay, is I have just cut the bottle right from the top, again made holes down below, added some pebbles, right? So over here that I have over here is actually Kapoor Tulsi or camphor basil, right? This is excellent when it comes to keeping mosquitoes away, especially in times like this when sanitation has become of utmost importance. All you have to do is take few leaves of these, you can boil it in water, and you can actually sanitize your whole place. You can sanitize your furnitures, your cabinets. So this is an excellent another type of basil that you can have. People would not be aware, but there are actually about 50 to 150 varieties of basil. Obviously, all of them are not edible varieties, right? But approximately you have about 24 basil which are very good to use in your kitchen, which are edible. So you have your purple basil, you have Italian basil, you have your sweet basil, Thai basil. So these are different varieties that you can choose from. So that's camphor basil that I have over here, right here. Okay. Once you have potted your plant, the another important step is actually the harvesting part of it and the maintenance. So a lot of people, have this thing, it's grown by me. I do not want to cut it. It's looking so beautifully. so beautiful. But what they don't realize is that if you do not cut your plant, okay, your plant's not going to get enough nutrients after a point of time, you know. So the more you harvest, the more better your plant is going to grow. For example, it's very simple. It's actually like putting 10 people in one room, you know. Obviously they are going to suffocate after a point of time, rather than 2 people being in that room or living in that room. It's similar for your plants. For example, if this is your pot space, right, okay, and right now I have these leaves growing very beautifully, okay, but if I do not harvest them, these are going to multiply into 10 times, and all of them are going to fight for the nutrients together. But if I harvest some of it, you know, the younger ones are going to get the nutrients to grow beautifully. So that's why it's very important to keep on harvesting your plant. So I have few questions. I'll take that before moving forward. Uh, Ma'am, is it good to use only coco peat? Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, coco peat has no nutritive value, right? So if you are growing your seeds, it's good, but later on you would have to shift it to soil, or you would have to mix compost along with coco peat. The reason being, it's your soil and compost that gives the nutrition to your plants. Coco peat alone has no nutritive value. All it does, it retains moisture, it controls the temperature within the soil, and it makes the soil light and fluffy. You know? So if you would want your plant to grow well, it's very important to add organic fertilizers every 3 months. Can you? Yeah, sure. So I haven't completed with harvesting process, Pooja, right now. I'll go ahead with the harvesting process. Okay. So to show you that, I have a sweet basil plant with me. Again, the reason why I am showing you a sweet basil plant is because a lot of people have tulsi at home as well, and a lot of people complain that tulsi dies off, it does not grow very well. Since they are from the same family, I'll show you the harvesting process of pudina as well as the basil. To begin with basil is, first of all, I have kept the seeds purposely, okay, to show you guys. Never let it flower or never let it seed, okay. The reason being is, whenever you have the seeds, after a period of time your plants will stop growing because it goes on to the seeding stage, okay. So the first thing is, even when you on your tulsis, you can have maybe a couple of them, but it's always advisable to actually take out these seeds. So never let it flower or never let it seed. So yeah, we do keep a lot of seeds. That's because we have our own seed bank, and all these are organic plants, right? And we do have it at iKheti, so we do store a lot of seeds. That's a different reason. But since you are looking for produce, you're looking for harvest, you're looking for leaves, I would suggest you not to let the seeds stay on. Okay. If you see over here, whenever you're cutting it, always cut it diagonally. Never cut it straight. Okay. Always cut it diagonally. So if you already have an existing basil plant, and if you would want to make more of it, all you have to do is, as I mentioned, find a green stem. So there is a green stem that I see over here, okay, a green stem, and cut it diagonally. So if you see, my scissors are in an upward direction. The reason why we cut it diagonally is because the root surface area gets it's higher, it increases, right? So when you are actually immersing it in water, your root surface area increases. That's why we always cut it diagonally, right? The other reason for trimming and pruning is, so if I have cut it from here, right here, my leaf was over here, I would have new shoots coming out from here. Okay, so what I would want is a healthy plant. I would want a plant that's full of foliage, that has a lot of leaves. That's why it becomes very important for me to keep on pruning every 1 month. So you can definitely keep on taking the bigger leaves, okay, whenever you would want to use them. But after a month, always keep on pruning. Like I said, your produce is always proportionate to your plant size. To your pot size, correct? So if you have a smaller pot, keep on cutting it so that you get more produce, or otherwise shift your plant to a bigger pot, okay? So the bigger the pot, the more produce that you get. If you see right over here, another important thing that you do is always remove leaves, okay, the excess leaves. So whenever I'm placing it in water, I forgot to add that for pudina also. Try to remove the excess leaves that it has. Just keep a couple of them on the top, as you see over here, right over here, okay, and then place them in water, because we want the nutrients to go on for the root formation and not for the leaves. So I just have about 2-3 leaves, and then I just place it in water. Another thing that you ensure is that your stem touches the water. So you would have to keep on checking on that every day. If you forget to change your water after a point of time, there's going to be excess absorption. Your roots won't be touching the water, the stem won't be touching the water, and also, like the other thing that I said, is your stem is going to start rotting because your water is going to become slimy in nature. So since it's not touching right now, I'll just fill it up with some more water. So we should always have the stem touching in water. Also, always ensure that the stem is about at least 2 to 3 inches in height. Do not take a very small one. If you see, it's a good height, and see the amount of roots that I have got. Okay. So that's another point to remember. And I place this thing where there is not direct sunlight. Okay. Yep, there it goes. So that's about how you harvest your basil. Similarly, the same thing is for your pudina and for your peppermint as well. If you see over here, first I harvest the big leaves, right? But after a month, I do snip it off from here as well. Okay, that's where the snipping off happens. Okay. Because, like I mentioned, I would want the foliage to increase in all directions. I would want a nice healthy plant growing in all directions. The only reason I'm not snipping it up right now is because I have recently potted it, and it's undergone shock, so I wouldn't want to give any more shock to my plant. Yes. Once potted, okay, immediately add some water. We water our plant and place it in indirect sunlight. Whenever you have potted your plant, again, very important, do not place it in direct sunlight. Place it where there is indirect sunlight. After a couple of days, you can shift it to direct sunlight. That's fine, because your herbs actually require about minimum of 3 to 4 hours for it to grow well, flourish well. The more sunlight it gets, the less pests you are going to have on your plant. Okay. So coming on to that, the pest management part of it. Since you're growing your food, you think you're not going to get pests on it, then you're wrong. Okay? Because they're there everywhere, they are there in the air. What we have to learn is about how do we manage them, and how do we manage them organically. So over here again, everything that we grow at iKheti, and when we talk about sustainable living, everything has to be organic in nature. The whole idea of growing your own food is that we do not add any kind of chemicals to it, So when it comes to pest management, a simple thing that you can do as a preventive measure is you can buy neem oil from your chemist. So that's readily available in any kind of chemist, right? Mix it in water, soapy water. Add a little bit of soap. The only reason why we add soap is because neem oil otherwise wouldn't gel or mix with water. Okay, so the soap becomes a mixing agent for the neem oil to mix with water, and then spray it on your plants. Do it on a monthly basis. It's a preventive measure, okay, so that we do not neem oil, since neem leaves in general keeps a lot of insects away, keeps a lot of pests away. The same qualities neem oil has, okay, it's going to keep your pests away. But just in case, if you think you have a plant which is already infected with pests, it has a lot of pests, especially when you're growing these kind of edibles, you are usually going to get mealybugs. Okay, it's a fungus, white fungus kind of a thing, velvety kind. It's very sticky in nature, right? So that's something that what you usually going to get. Okay, first of all, whenever you have pest on your plants, use a sprayer, okay, and wash the leaves thoroughly. Always remove all the pests that you have. Okay, so the washing is the first step that you need to take care of. And the second step that you will have to follow, take the same neem oil, okay, which you mixed in soapy water, but now add either red chili powder to it, okay, or crushed garlic. So either of it. It does not have to be both. It's either red chili powder or crushed garlic. You can add both to it, right? And then spray it on your plant. Do it continuously for about 3 to 4 days till the time you don't see pests. So since this is organic in nature, it's not going to have any harmful effect on your plant. Okay, so keep on doing it continuously. It's not a chemical that you spray it once and your pests are going to go, right? So you would have to do it on a continuous basis. So again, let me take some few of the questions. Okay, Alka, did I add any nutrients in water bottle? No, Alka, I didn't. That's why it's very important for you to change your water every day, like I said, because fresh water would have fresh nutrients to it. If you do not do that, your plant is not going to get nutrients. So when we do hydroponics on, like I showed the system that we have, over there we add water soluble nutrients, but no, in the process that I showed you, nothing at all except for changing your water. Okay, flower of my cherry tomatoes are falling. What should I do? Okay, first of all, Kumkum, if the flowers are falling, whenever especially, so tomato is a fruit plant. Okay, whenever it starts fruiting or they are flowering, you need to start watering it less. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that that when the flowers are there on your plant, water it a bit less than your regular watering. That might be one of the reasons why your flowers are falling off. Also, another reason can be that it does not have enough nutrients. Okay, so you would have to add some kind of compost to your soil. So that might be these might be the reasons why your flowers are falling off. So this was all about actually growing your herbs. Any more questions? Since we are going to be wrapping up very soon. Okay, any more questions? I am here for another minute or so. I'll be happy to take this and help you guys grow your own food. And coming back again, like I said, I'm from Mumbai. I'm a city girl, and when I started IKT, a lot of people actually asked me, where is the space to grow your own food? Okay, right over here, right in front of you. I will show you. Let me just set it up for you first. Okay. There it goes, and there it goes. Yes. You actually do not need that much of space when you are growing your herbs. That's the reason why we started with herbs. Is first of all, it's very easy to grow. Second, it's easy to maintain, and third, that it does not require that much space. So it's a great thing for first time gardeners. And the best part is you immediately get the produce. So when you start with your fruits and vegetables, you would have to wait for a longer period of time. That's why I usually mention people that to take it in the second stage, start with herbs right here. So if I actually have about 4 to 5 varieties of herb growing in space as small as this, so it's not about the space, it's about making that difference in your lifestyle. Like I mentioned, it's about getting your hands dirty. Okay, and it's about including healthy, fresh, pesticide free food in your diet for your family members, for yourself, and to live a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. So that's the whole idea why Indian Oil had this session today, because the whole aim is for people to live healthy, greener, and sustainable lifestyle. So how do we, a few questions before I just wrap it up. How do we crush the cocoa peats into pieces? If you, all you have to do is add water to it, okay, automatically it will expand. Right? If you do not have cocoa peat right now, since the lockdown is going on, you can just take out the husk from your dried coconut, that is your brown coconut, and use that as well and mix it in the soil. So that's me, Priyanka, signing off from Indian Oil Chef de Cuisine. Priyanka from IKT. It was, you guys were a great audience. I loved the questions that were coming up that showed the interest that you guys have in creating your own kitchen garden. If you need more information, please do like Indian Oil Chef de Cuisine page on Instagram, on Facebook. Do follow them. do follow iKT on Instagram and Facebook so that we can actually handhold you throughout the entire session. Another request that I would have, it would be a pleasure, it would be so wonderful to actually see you guys doing this. So if you guys are planning to start growing your own herbs, maybe in water or in soil, I would just request you to take a picture of it, to take a picture of the process. It might be with your family, it might be with your kids, okay? And do post it on Indian Oil Chef the Cuisine. Do tag them, do tag iKT, and share your entire process with us. We would love to show it to the world. We would want this community to grow, and we would want each one of you to join the Grow Your Own Food movement. Thank you. This is Priyanka here signing off. Any more questions, you can post it on Indian Oil Chef the Cuisine page, and we'll be more than happy to answer it for you. Thank you. Take care. Grow your own herbs and stay green.